Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Laurel Park. And Naomi Tucker, Tim Tulloch next to me this morning show. Tim, a little bit of a different environment for us as well. We've set up shop inside here today, but looking forward to it nonetheless.
We have a little windy, a little cold out there, some rain coming down, and clearly we're off the turf. But look, you know, there's some of these races got a little more interesting coming off the turf than they were on, frankly, with the horses that drew in and the horses that look like they will handle the offgoing. So it's going to be an interesting day for sure.
Agreed. Looking forward to it. And of course, happy Friday. Happy Stronach 5 Friday. We have the nationwide wager coming your way again. Race number 8 kicks things off. We have the first 2 legs of the sequence before we go to the West Coast, Santa Anita Park race 3, Gulfstream Park race 9, and then Golden Gate Field to close things off. 12%, one of the lowest takeouts in the industry. Test your handicapping skills, and of course the payout can be quite significant. Aside from that, we are looking ahead to some of the action at our sister track, Gulfstream Park, in January, one of the highlight days of the year. The Pegasus World Cup pre-sale tickets have gone online. Now, Tim, have you had a look yet? Are you gonna go?
I only go if I get invited. I haven't been invited down to the Pegasus yet. You might. I'm just still hoping to get to the Claiming Crown. That's my goal. I take little steps, get to the Claiming Crown, and then maybe they'll call me up and say, "Come on down for this."
Quite the day as well. End of December, that will be, and a lot of fun. Right? That's what I've heard. And from every, video and picture I've seen, it's quite the party.
Well, Florida in the winter is fun no matter where you're at because it's a little bit warmer than it is here. But, look, the racing's good. It's a good atmosphere, so why not make your plans and go?
Absolutely. If you're in the area or even book a flight, we all would like some sunshine in the winter, and you can find it in Florida, that's for sure. Of course, if you are wagering with us, we do hand out free pass performances now, which I think is an incredible initiative offered by the Stronach Group by First Racing. Free pass performances for all first venues. So we're looking at Gulfstream Park, Santa Anita, our track here at Maryland Jacob Laurel Park, as we're running here right now, and Golden Gate Fields. Download them at xbtv.com. Great way to get new players involved.
No doubt about it. And no doubt about it. When you don't have to put out that expense to get involved, and you can sit there and look at them and go from track to track, multiple tracks. It's just a good deal. So take advantage of it for sure.
I agree wholeheartedly. Let's have a look at the current track conditions. You highlighted it earlier, Tim. We've had a bit of rain. We're off the turf and we're on a sloppy main track. Of course, we will keep you up to date if anything does change throughout the day.
To see how it changes, the track will hold up well. We're talking about some wind, so that wind could be a factor here today. The track won't. It's a good sloppy track. A lot of horses appreciate it and holds them up, and a lot of horses will improve on the sloppy track. So we'll have to see how it goes. The turf still looks very, very good. Unfortunately, we're off of it today.
I'm sure it doesn't mind a little bit of rain. It looks beautiful, lush and green. I'm sure the plants enjoy the downpour.
No doubt about that. Now we just have to get some sunny weather next week.
Absolutely. But you already said some of these veteran runners today relish these conditions. Look at that.
I'm so excited because I'm out on this racetrack every morning and I haven't seen the Eagles since we returned. I was getting a little bit concerned, so it's good to see him back here at Laurel Park. I'm sure he'll bring his friends over the next couple of days.
I love that. What a great shot, guys, and a treat to have him back as well. Let's see if I can try and spot him once we get off air. I'll go and walk out and have a look. Let's talk about the 9 races coming your way. Of course, race number 1, we kick off the early pick 5 sequence. 1 mile the distance here on the main track, like we highlighted, off the turf today, and both you and I, Tim, landed on the one of the outside runners. We do have a couple horses that will be making their appearance here, and Song of Honor, main track only entry, exactly what she wants to do in this spot. And look, she's done very well on the wet in the past, 1 for 1 on it, and look, her recent form, she's really started to find herself.
She certainly has, and there's another horse in here, a couple other horses, at least one that when ran better figures on and off track, but I think this one is right now, getting class relief this afternoon. Broke her maiden for the maiden 25,000. That was on the slop. She's in for the 2 for 16 today. We've talked about it before. This is absolutely the perfect spot. A work since that last race, and by Ana Corudada, that Unbridled Song. We've already seen her handle the off track, but I think we'll see her handle it again this afternoon.
Yeah, and one runner in here who hasn't really gone on off track yet. You use her in your exact at number 1 and Throne, but breeding wise, it suggests that she could handle this.
And never on and off track, but absolutely by Empire Maker out of a Lemon Drop Kid mare. Should absolutely really like the going, and it's in pretty good form. And she only gets to be a length and a half for the whole thing in her last race. So on the improve over her last 2, and should like the going for Hugh McMahon and Grace LeBar.
Yeah, I take a shot with the number 2, Windrush Karma, who faces winners for the first time here as well, but showing plenty of speed. I hope this track is going to carry her further. Race number 2, 5.5 furlongs dash on the main track. Started the early pick 4, and I decided to try my hand at the early pick 4 sequence. Usually we see Keith create the tickets here, but I was like, you know what? Let me have a go at this. Kept it fairly cheap, didn't I? $9 flat. 1, 3, and 6 for me in this maiden 16 leg to open things off here. Race number 3, mile and 8 on the main track. I used the 4 and the 8. I know I'm going there, but I think Princess Dior is going to absolutely relish this. She stretched out a mile and 8 last time out, and that just exactly what the doctor ordered for trainer Dale Capuano. Then the number 8, Maureen Loves Frank, main track only entry. You do want to use her for trainer Claudio Gonzalez. Race 4, I single on Moquist. She's the form runner. She is stepping it up big time though against some really well-established mares. But I think she's going to be okay stretching out. She has a really long stride on her. I think she's going to continue moving forward. So I single on her in that spot. Just also because these mares, there's a couple coming in here off the back of layoffs. I'm just not sure they're going to be peak fitness just yet. If they were, I probably wouldn't be singling. But I'm taking my chances here with Mokus. And then race number 5, I used the 1, the 4, and the 5 for a grand total of $9. I think that's a fun little ticket to play on this Friday afternoon. Starting with this maiden 16 event for the 2-year-olds, going 5.5 furlongs the distance. We do have a video spotlight here. Let's start with that. The number 1, Don't Cross Fuzzy for trainer Tim Saltzman. JD Acosta on board. Look, she showed good speed on the day before kind of settling behind. Now, we saw a unique time there, kind of scooting off with the lead. Don't Cross Fussy, she kind of dropped further back, but then she started moving upwards again. You see it here. She gets a bit excited and she wants to move even further. Unfortunately, there wasn't anywhere for her to go and did kind of get steadied. I didn't think that helped her. But she still keeps on running. She still tries.
Keeps on running. I think steady was a little bit of a understatement.
Well, complete check there.
Only because she can't almost turned up upside on their head in the short comment. But no doubt about that. I mean, trouble in that race. She kept on trying on her couple of race before, or actually 2 other races before were good efforts at a higher level. Back down this maiden 16 today with trouble in last. She should be pretty tough here. And she's getting JD Acosta.
Yeah, JD Acosta on board as well. The only question mark I have is the distance going to be a bit too short for him here? Cutting back from the 7. He has run well over 5.5, but hasn't really got the job done. I thought the way that he was running, I thought the 7 maybe suit better. Maybe the 6. 5.5 maybe on the shorter side. Look, I use him in my exacta.
The 1? Don't
cross. I'm wondering about the distance.
I'm not concerned about the distance. Getting the drop 16,000, getting a well-established veteran rider on. I think there's Don't Cross Frosty has a lot going for him.
I used the first drawn towards the outside for trainer Anthony Ferrier. Arnaldo Boca Chica gets the ride. Look, the Sire Brody's calls not that great with 2-year-old starters just yet. But I looked at the work tab in here, 101 and 3, 4 or 5 furlong move, 48 and 3 handy from the gate. That works in this field. This is not an overly tough field to make your debut in. Yeah. I think that this 2-year-old can get the job done, and the draw is better than the inside draw, I felt.
Yeah, it's Boca Chica and Ferrier about 37%. You're absolutely right. Good works for this group, a good work from the gate. 48 and change. Anthony Ferrier been a little quiet this meet, but good with these types and maiden claiming events and just simply well entered at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agreed. And actually, the dam is an Australian-bred turf miler who won 346,000 Australian dollars and actually was second in a Group 3 at Rose Hill. Now, look, a bit of turf underneath, but maybe that translates well to the sloppy going that we have at present. So I'm taking my shot with a Playboy Roy. Great name.
Well, the slop's going to hold them up. Turf holds them up. We could appreciate it. Same thing.
I agree. Race number 3, Fillies and Mess at 3-year-old and up, claiming 16 to 12 and a half. Nomans at 3, Lifetime, Mile and 8 on the main track here. Let's start with one of the runners that is on the outside, number 16. I use her underneath as well. Miss Moreno, main track only entry as well. Look, she stays strongly on the main track going long. In terms of like the sloppy going, not 100% sure if that's really her thing. She hasn't done that well on it just yet. But look, she comes off a break. Claudio Gonzalez has really started to heat up again here, and Kevin Gomez and Claudio hit it about 30% together.
30%. Keep in mind that those two races that you see on the offgoing were sprinting. She's going long here today. She's cut out to handle the offgoing by Shanghai Bobby of that Unbridled Song mare. Anytime you see Unbridled Song in a pedigree, they're going to like the offgoing. They're not the best-footed horses. They pass it along, and they like that slop. But look, she's got the good races going around the ground, going back to Gulfstream Park on the turf. I think she'll appreciate going long on the offgoing. She did was outrun going short down there here and in Florida on the offgoing. So I think this makes all the difference.
Yeah, I do agree. I must admit, this race was a little bit tricky. I was moving my picks around now that we're on the main track as well because I liked her in this spot. Did land in the end on the other Claudio Gonzalez runner here. Marine Loves Frank Angel Cruz aboard. Look, she's been running against the right company. Her last time on the main track going long was at Delaware against Claiming 25. Look, she won that by 10.5 lengths. So relatively speaking, this is a little bit of class 3. Look, we haven't seen her on the off going just yet, but she's done well on the turf, and like you said, turf to sloppy translates well, and she can run on the main tracks too. So I thought I'd take a filly that has kind of shown she's a little bit flexible with what she'll find here today.
Right, she's dropping back down to the level of the claim by Claudio Gonzalez 2 starts ago, where she didn't run poorly on a good turf course. She only gets beat 2 lengths while running third. But yeah, that's a big race back at Delaware with a big figure, and she should handle the off-going. I have no problem with that. I went back between both the Claudios, back and forth between both of Claudios,
me too.
and ended up on the 16 instead.
I was about to go for Claudio Exacta, and then I looked at Princess Dior and remembered how long her stride was and how I think she's gonna, skip over this sloppy going and that stretch out to the mile and an eighth. That really worked for her, and that's kind of vibe she's been giving me from the moment that I saw her here when she got claimed by Dale at Churchill Downs. I thought she was always a bit better going these longer distances, so I think she's going to enjoy this.
Well, she certainly has some good races down at Churchill Downs, going long on the main track. That race this past June, that was a big effort, good effort at this level. Now, she was claimed in that last start going mile eighth, and the claim was voided. So that's a little bit of a concern for me. But does have a work since that last race. And, of course, Dale's having a great meet, good with all these types. This kind of layoff, horses winning 2 in a row, and should handle the off-going. I really think he will. And, and she ran second on it once before, so.
Yeah, I think she's cut out to handle. Look, I was a little bit worried about a voided claim as well, but then again, I'm not entirely certain what the reasoning was behind it, and it's encouraging to see a work and that Dale kind of goes back in with her at this level.
I think I need to check, but I think the only way the claim you see that the claim was voided, they're not a clerical error. It's only if they don't go past the examining veterinarian while cooling out. I need to check on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Yeah, well, let's hope she comes in here just fine and can still kind of, maybe get the better of this whittled down field now that we're on the main track. Race number 4. This is a race I'm looking forward to. This is a fun field. 7 furlongs the distance in here. 3 other than for fillies and mares, 3-year-old and older. Look, a couple of heavy hitters making their appearance in here. We both went with the 3-year-old, though. Let's look back at her last race right here, where she was incredibly impressive. She was put to the test that day. That was also against older ladies. 3 other than company. This is kind of that next big challenge that she's going to get given. Her main foes, though, come in after a couple of layups, and hence I thought, she is absolutely, taking that next step with every single race. And look at that beautiful long stride on her. We haven't seen her on the off going, but it seems like she'll be able to at least get over it well.
Well, you did see a couple things are happening here. But first of all, you did see her on a sealed fast racetrack. That racetrack was sealed. She's by Nyquist out of a Speightstown mare. The off going's not going to be an issue for her. How tough is she? She's 8-5. You and I both have her picked on top. She's your single on your pick 4, and she's jumping in condition.
I know.
She's in a 3 other than today. She's still eligible 2 other than. She was 2 other than yesterday as a main track only. We didn't come off the turf. She's in here at the 3 other than, but how good is she? 85 by her speed figure. She's undefeated. Dale's pointing her for the safely kept. This is a prep for the safely kept. And even though he's skipping a condition with her, I think he's found a good group.
I think so as well. But let's talk about some of the other foes. You don't even use a filly that I have a lot of time for, the number 4, Don't Let Sweet Fool You. Look, I know that she was tailing off a little bit in her last couple of outings. She wasn't that same filly that won the Primanera, the Willa on the move. She is very, very tough early. I think if she's on her game, she's the lone projected speed in here. However, is she coming in here in that kind of peak race condition? That is a question mark, and hence I used her underneath just based on some of her back class.
And the back class is going to have to show. It's going to have to come out. Look, she went from February to May without running. She ran once. She got beat 4 lengths. She runs again in June. She gets beat 13 lengths. Now, look, it was Chub Wagon. It was Hello Beautiful. There were some runners in there. But she disappears again until now. So there's certainly – and then they work her on the turf. I just feel like – they're trying to figure out where
what
to go
do and how
next
to maybe get her back.
And where to go next. Now, look, her back races, her back numbers, her back class are there, but we haven't seen those type of races since almost a year, day after Christmas.
Yeah. No, you're right. I perhaps I have a little bit of a soft spot for her as well. Just love this filly, and I really hope to see her back in peak condition. But look, both of us respect Bluefield, the number 3 for trainer Justin Nixon. Look, last out winner at Timonium, that was going to minimum distance. That was 4 furlongs. Look, she's a tough mare. The fact that she can cut back 2 furlongs from 6 to 4, get the job done, and now come back here and stretch back out to 7. That's not an easy task.
I watched that race from the midway with my kids. We were on the ride. So I said, look, I want to go watch Bluefield run. So we watched it for the far turn. And coming into the far turn, moving the far turn, and she wins this race from here because she was just moving up nicely and kindly, and then ends up winning the race. But yeah, look, Justin Nixon knows his way around the shed row. He always sends these horses over well. 3 sharp. Look at those work she's had since that race at Timonium. This filly's ready to roll. A Byfield commission out of Pentacalis mare. Never got that name right, and I have trained a few of them too. Good enough. We'll try again later. Okay, let's move on. Bluefield, yeah, I like her. Strong outfit. Xavier Perez gets them out once away.
How about needs supervision as well? 5-year-old mare drops down from the stakes company that she's been competing at throughout. Look, she was a victorious of the safely kept in 2019, the race that we just mentioned. Moquist is pointing to. She ran well in the Barbara Fritchie earlier this year when she got edged out by a neck for 3rd, but we haven't seen her since March.
Yeah, and she hasn't seen the winner's circle since the safely kept either. Now, with that said, she's been running in, a couple graded stakes, ran a nice race in the Interborough last January, but coming off of this layoff, Jerry O'Dwyer about 12%. So she's going to have to show a little bit. Her works have been solid for the return, but she's going to have to get back to that kind of form too. And look, in her defense, as my kids will say, they haven't made it easy for her. I mean, she won the safely kept here, and that's great and wonderful. And then we just keep on going and taking on Gorillas and Gorillas and Gorillas. She runs a good race at Water Summer, local stake. That's great. But then we go in the grade 3 Barbara Fritchie, local race, okay. And then we start, just going off everywhere. And just they haven't made it easy for her. So maybe this is – we'll see how it runs. See how it goes.
I'm looking forward to race number 4. I think it's going to be a great affair. Perhaps not the largest of fields, but the quality is there. Sure. So really want to see if Moquist can step things up here for trainer Dale Capuano. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with the latter section of the card. Welcome back to Laurel Park. Naomi Tucker alongside Tim Tully. We are on race number 5 of 9, maiden special weight. Coming up here, we are off the turf throughout the day. Mile and 16 a distance for this maiden special, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Let's have a look at the video spotlight because we have a couple of foes re-engaging here, and that is the number 1 Mohaffed as well as the number 4 Algonquin. And you can see them here. Algonquin well on the pace in front there, whereas Mohaffed is kind of making a lovely move there from the back. I thought that he kind of got the run of the race there, was able to clear a few runners down the lane as well, whereas Algonquin was the one kind of, doing all the hard work.
He was doing all the hard work and was a good second place finish, or actually he backed up here. He did most of the work going a mile. He's going to go a mile and 16th today, stretching out. I'll be honest. I mean, this is a maiden special weight, and both these horses figure. I have Algonquin on top.
I do
here.
too.
Lindstrom's winning this race. Lindstrom came back and just ran okay yesterday, I would
4th?
say at best.
Yeah, okay.
But this is still the maiden special weight, and they did run pretty close behind him with the one only getting beat 3 lengths in that race. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I think they are the 2 horses to beat in here. I have some interest in the 7, Call You Right Back, as you do, by Imaging out of Magliadoro Mare. Should handle the off-going.
Yeah, he was second on his first sprinting on the main track, then struggled to kind of carry his speed on that yielding turf, but might enjoy this better, and it does translate well to the off-going, as we highlighted. Yeah, and the number 4, Algonquin, to quickly get back, JD had horse around the bend, and even though he had to do a lot of work in the early part, I think that's the reason he kind of struggled a little bit late. Really well bred though, 3rd career start, full brother to grade 3 Ben Ali winner Watershed, who also ran 5th and 4th in the grade 1 Malibu Stakes, the grade 1 King Bishop. Look, deep family going into this, and I think he's going to get the better of the rest of them.
Keep in mind, so is Lindstrom.
But Lidstrom finally put things together last time. Look,
Yeah,
4th in that allowance race yesterday, not completely disgraced.
No, absolutely not.
He's still green. I think he's just a bit of a late developer.
It's
if we're talking about Lidstrom
$2.5
here.
million worth of green.
Half brother to Nyquist.
We're all over the place today. Let's get back to 7.
We'll get back to race
Call
number.
You Right Back.
Call You Right.
Look, coming out of a good race, only got beat 7 lengths. Nordic Rhythm would come back and win. Welshman came back and won yesterday, and I know it's a grass. We're getting back to the main track. But this is a horse that ran well first time out on a fast main track. Handling the off track is well within range. I have him in my exact, and he might be the wild card of this race.
I like that pick in there, and indeed Welshman came back to win quite nicely yesterday for Jack Fisher. Race number 6, Fillies and Mares 3-year-old and up, claiming 16 to 12.5. Known is a 3 lifetime, 5.5 furlongs on the main track. Here we'll start with the number 2 Volney, dropping back down for trainer Dale Capuano. She's never seen the off-going either, but again seems to be one that might just on breeding would suggest that it might move her up.
I think so. She's cut out to Like It by Oxbow out of an Escondrea mare. Look, and she's had some races or 2 back at Timonium. That was a big race, and she has races back in Kentucky at Churchill Downs and Turfway Park, both on the main track and on the Tapeta or whatever they have there at Turfway now. That are good enough. Race has been good at the bull rings, and she's been good on everything she's run on. So I'm going to give her a shot. She's going to like this today. First time on it.
I think so as well. I use the number 4 Party at Page on top for Jeremiah Engard. She's won on the sloppy going at Finger Lakes before. Looks like one of the pacemakers in this spot. Sharp work coming in as well. 47 and 4. I like this number 4 coming up from Belmont, where she's been training.
Yes, I mean, look, throughout that last race, going 7/8 of a mile on the turf, the race before at Belmont was not a bad effort, getting beat 5 lengths. Now she's coming down from Finger Lakes, where she was just ruling the roost up there. But look, she's in a 3 for 16 today, so there's still going to be some class relief from that race in Belmont and from those races at Finger Lakes. She's already handled an off racetrack where she ran a very respectable 60 by her speed figure in this group. 3 good work since. So yes, Party of Page is all part of the conversation.
Yeah, I feel like the 2, the 4, and the 11 are kind of the horses to key around in race number 6. Race number 7, 3-year-olds and up, claiming 10 to 8,000 numbers of 3 in their career. 5.5 furlong dash again on that main track. And look, we're kind of keying around the same race horses as well here. I have the number 4, Zorb, on top for trainer Justin Nixon. Look, he's held his 70 buyer when transferring to a sloppy surface. He's coming in here third after a break and a barn change. And in his last outing, he outbroke the field, led all the way without letting up that day, engaged with Porter 1, couldn't hold him off, but then Porter 1 did come back and win again at Parks at the same level. A nice 79 buyer, kind of, confirming that form.
Yeah, it was a good race. That was second off of a layoff, getting back on the main track, running behind Portal 1, ran a good, strong figure, comes back here with a work since that last race, and if he can bring that race back here this afternoon, and Biorb, who's by Malamove Moon, Giants Convoy Mare, couple good races on the off track, no wins, but does show a good speed figure there.
Yeah,
so
and you use the number 5, Where You Be. He's going to be showing speed as well. Quick turnaround, though.
Yeah, first off the claim for Rudy Sanchez Solomon, and who's been hotter than Rudy at this fall meet. He's winner of 3 in a row, 4-7 lifetime. And he just goes from one good barn, Jamie Ness, to another. He'll hold his form. You can count on that. He'll show up this afternoon for sure.
I agree. And both of us use Natty Bow underneath as well. Also first after the claim, but hasn't been outside of the money since June this year. Holds his level, and I think he runs his race no matter what the going is. As we move along to race number 8, because that is the first leg of the Stronach 5. And Tim, you've had a look at the sequence as well. Of course, we kick things off right here with 5.5 furlongs on the main track, and you single on the number 1, Montauk Daddy.
I do single on Montauk Daddy. This horse coming down for Rob Atras. Will run on anything, has run on anything. 2 wins at Saratoga, 1 on the main track, which was rated good that day, 1 on the turf. In his next start with good solid numbers. You go back down his form, all you see are good races. I'm going to single on Montauk Daddy because I needed a lot of room as we move on to leg B, which is right here at Laurel Park. I use the 2, the 5, and the 9. Beware the 2, Revolutionary Road, getting exactly what he wants and off track. Now, the leg C and D at Santa Anita and Gulfstream Park. Tricky. I wanted to go deeper here in race 3. My pocketbook wouldn't afford it, so I do use the 3, 5, and 8. And the leg D at Gulfstream Park, I pull out the wallet. This thing is wide open. 3, 5, 10, 12. I tried to use 5 in there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't pull it off. And then, of course, I've learned not to single at Golden Gate Fields, another maiden special weight event. This is a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds. I use the 1, the 4, and the 7. $108 ticket. It's going to be hard to solve, I think. And we'll see how it shakes out, but certainly get involved. And you might have to put a little bit more money in today's Stronach 5.
Well, look, it tends to pay off pretty well. Last week there were 4 tickets, a value of $98,311 that went out. Now, we did have that big carryover, of course, but in general, it really does pay off. So if you want to invest a little bit, test your handicapping skills, the rewards are certainly worth it. Let's talk about race number 8. You single on the number 1, Montauk Daddy. I have him on top as well. We do have a video of 2 starts ago. That was on the turf track, but before that, he also won when it was an off-the-turf event. This is a 4-year-old by Daddy Longlegs who seems to keep his form, and he comes in from New York, just runs on any surface, really.
He doesn't care. He shows up and he runs. As you mentioned, the race before was on an off-the-turf event where he ran very, very well earlier this year at Aqueduct. He's running on muddy and good surfaces up there on the main track, getting it done. His last start at Monmouth Park was at this first level allowance condition, and he ran all right. Runs behind next out winner in high limit room. But look, this is a nice horse. He's going to show up here this afternoon. I think he gets the job done on Charlie Marquez.
I think so as well. But both of us use subject to change in our exacta for trainer Jerry Rupp. Very sharp 3-year-old coming in here 2 starts ago off the turf event as well. That starter optional claimer. Those are not easy heats to win. Was able to come in off the pace. Then was on the turf of that allowance company. I think subject to change is actually going to enjoy the fact that we're off the turf.
I think so too. By Gradar out of a Grand Slam mare. Look, he's coming out of that turf race, rocked the boat. Sue loves Barbados.
Prince Pear, very consistent runner at that level as well.
Very consistent runner at that level, no doubt about that. 2 previous races were 2 wins in a row. This is a gelding who's in very, very good form, and he will show up today.
I think he will as well. Nightcap is race number 9. A starter allowance here, 7 furlongs distant, as we said before. Leg B of the Stronach 5. I landed on a horse that you didn't use. It was a bit of a price play for me in this spot. The number 7, Rock and Fellers. Look, tough veteran campaigner who seems to have run some of his best races on the off-going, including that career best figure of 99 bar. Goes back out to the 7 furlong. He has been capable of seeing out further. He goes well over a mile as well. Sharp work coming in. And Horatio Caramanos knows this runner incredibly well.
Yeah, 0 for 4 going 7/8 of a mile. And no doubt that he was in very, very good form going into that last race. But he didn't show up at all in that last race. And my concern is he's an 8-year-old. He's an honest, hard campaigner. But is his form starting to go the other way after 3 really, really big efforts? So yeah. I'm going to just take a wait and see here with Rockefeller's. But look, if he shows up, he can be tough.
I'm hoping that maybe there was a slightly bit of a bounce and now he's coming back again. But you use sneakiness on top here. Was able to remain on the lead for the entire race. Had to kind of fight for it a little bit. 5-year-old by Into Mischief, who has done well on the wet going.
No doubt about it. Look, 6 starts, a win, a second, 2/3, and shows off a big 84 speed figure on the off going. He's in very good form. Look, he had a win in his last race. He had to fight for it hard. Yep. No doubt about that. That was a starter 8, starter 5 today. Really no different. But look down his form going back to July at Monmouth. There's a big race there, big figure. Comes back with a win in his next start. I'm going to go with sneakiness here in the nightcap. 3-1 on the line.
Yeah, 9 races coming your way as we get going with lightning round. We'll give you a quick update on the current jockey and trainers standings. Javian Toledo absolutely continued his reign, firing throughout Maryland Million Day as well. But look, Jorge Ruiz is riding high too. There's a couple of jocks here, Javian, Jorge, Horatio, who just keep churning out those winners.
They do keep churning out those winners. They're all very, very good riders. I don't know how long Michael Sanchez is going to stay there, but Michael Sanchez is about to break his way into the top 5. Very, very good rider. So I don't know if he's staying the winner. I just simply don't know. But look, that's a good group of riders on top of our rider standings, and it could get a little close toward the end. 2 things that will keep Toledo and Ruiz in the hunt. Toledo has a backing right now of Brittany Russell, and as long as there's turf racing, Ruiz and Caramanos are going to be winning their share of races.
They ride very well on the lawn here. And talking about Brittany Russell, she reigns supreme here for another week. Look, Claudio Gonzalez is starting to heat up, though.
Yeah, he is. He got off to a slow start here at the fall meet. A lot of turf racing doesn't help Claudio. As the turf season dwindles down, we hope it doesn't. He's going to start winning a lot more races. And then, of course, Dale Capuano and Jamie Ness, just veteran horsemen. They're always hanging around. They're always right in the mix. And how about Rudy Sanchez-Solomon? About 36% at this meet. Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, you're going to have to take another look here. Stronach 5, of course, like I said, starts in race number 8 here today. And last week's payout was nothing to sniff at, $98,000 to 4 lucky ticket holders. As we move along to the pre-entries for the Breeders' Cup Classic, of course, headlined by one of the, best horses, probably one of the few right now best horses out of Maryland, Knicks Go. He comes in there 3 consecutive wins, including the Whitney, of course, last year's winner of the Breeders' Cup, Dirt Mile, as well as the winner of the Pegasus World Cup.
Yeah, it's exciting to have a Maryland bred there and being part of it. And this should end up being a pretty nice race. Our collector is doing very well. Essential Quality, I mean, that's a nice horse too. So you've got Hot Rod Charlie is eligible to up and run a good race if he can keep himself out of trouble. So yeah, this is a nice race. And Medina Spears back in really good form. So there you go.
Absolutely. As we'll finish things off by looking ahead to the British Cup Sprint, because we also have a Maryland bred in there, a Lower West bred by Robert T. Manfuso, as well as Katie Voss right here in Maryland by Hardspot out of Iceland. Bound second in the Grade 2 Phoenix, coming in here only by a close neck, closing in to special reserve. So, of course, it's always great to see these Maryland bred flying the flag on the biggest stage at the British Cup this year at Del Mar, coming up next week. So yeah, very much excited about them. We'll be rooting for Nick's go, of course.
Sure.
The Moore family having done such a terrific job with him. And that will conclude the morning show. And Tim and I will be back shortly in the afternoon with the races.
We will. Dave Rodman up next.